Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host Saeed. I do want to thank you for joining us tonight. Thursday the 2nd of June 2022. Remember viewers, it's Bacchanal Thursday tonight, so I want to hear from you. There's a lot of things that is going on with the government ministry in Trinidad and Tobago. For instance, the supply of LNG. That is a big thing in Trinidad and Tobago presently. Do we have enough LNG to service Trinidad and Tobago? If we do not have enough production to service Trinidad and Tobago, how could we supply the region? According to Stuart Young, how can we do that? Nevertheless, as we start off our program, viewers, those of you that are on Facebook and YouTube, a special good night to you. Remember, share our live stream on Facebook. Real Talk with Saieed Ali on Facebook. Remember, when you share our live stream, there are 5,000 contacts on your Facebook account. Those 5,000 will be able to see us, and if they share it, that is another 5,000 that is going to be able to see us. So what I want you to do now, viewers, go to your computer, open your Facebook account on your phone, share our live stream. I encourage you, it is important, viewers, that you share our live stream so your friends and your family, local and abroad, will be able to know about Real Talk with Saieed Ali, the #1 current affairs program in Trinidad and Tobago. We are also on YouTube. TT Real Talk, subscribe, hit the bell, and you will know when we go live. It is a must, viewers. It is a must. We want to build the social platform in Trinidad and Tobago. We want to build it up the Caribbean and around the world. And the only way you could do that is if you share our live stream. So that is all I'm asking of you. Share our live stream on Facebook and YouTube. Remember, I'm asking you to go to our Real Talk with Saieed Ali page. There's a survey link there. Click on the link. When it opens, just fill in the blank lines. Real Talk Group of Company page also, you can do the same thing. Click on the link. It is a survey we are doing. The reason for this survey is to find out why the financial institution in Trinidad and Tobago have denied you a loan. Like I said, we have completed almost 90% of our process in getting the Real Talk Credit Union Cooperative Society birthed in Trinidad and Tobago, another credit union, another Real Talk Group of companies, and we have finished about 90% or completed already, just at 10%. But I need you to go on the Facebook Real Talk with Saieed Ali and the Real Talk Group of Company page, click on the link and fill out the blanks. I just need you to do that. For us, we need about 200 or 300 individuals to do that. And I know if from now to the morning, or from now until Saturday morning, 300 of you in Trinidad and Tobago could click on the link and help us. Now, the reason for this, like I said on a previous show, is we want to be able to see why they have denied you and make it easy for you. Now, I could tell you something for an example. You could take a loan and your installment now, let's just say it could be $1,500 per month. And all you could reach is $1,000 installment. Now you automatically got blanked because you didn't have that extra 500 to add on to make up the 1,500, and that is why they blank you. You understand? So I want you to tell us why, when you fill out the blank spaces on the survey that we are doing, in order now we will be able to assist you coming to these things. So viewers, we're going to start off our program tonight. Minister in the Ministry of Finance, Brian Manning, is advising of the continued consultation of the proposed increase in the compulsory age of retirement from 60 to 65 with the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service Association. The minister and the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service Association representative held encouraging discussions surrounding the subject matter and noted that consultation with other trade unions will continue in the near future. So I just want to say something. These firemen, let's just say you're getting this service at the age of 19 or 20, and you reach 60, that is 40 years of being an active fire service attendant in the fire service industry. 40 years. Now they are having discussion that they want to extend it now from 60 to 65. Why are they doing that? Why are they doing that? Now, they once said that if they increase the age from 60 to 65, the individual will be able to contribute more to the NIS and BIR and health surcharge. But what they don't understand is that if you have in a country where 150,000 people lost their jobs, that is 150,000 less contribution that will go to the board. So extending the age from 60 to 65 to make sure that contributions keep coming in, you're making no sense. You're making no sense. When they reach at the age of 60, and according to the position they have, they can involve their son or their daughter. Because when one step in, one will step out. Let's say you retire at 60 and your son now turn 19 or 20. So when you step out of the fire service, he could step in. He could step in. In that way, you're creating employment for the younger ones, not extending the age of a man who already broken down. They would not come out and tell you. They would not come out and tell you because of the fact that the unemployment rate is high in Trinidad and Tobago. There is no contribution. If we lose 150,000 people to unemployment, that is 150,000 less contribution. So how can the NIS manage it? How can the BIR board manage when you have 150,000 contributions less? You see, I go tell you something. They will try to tie you up like a Sunday crab in a bucket. But they won't be able to tie up Saieed. Take what I'm telling all you. So, Brian Manning, I have no idea what he is trying to do, but I given only a big insight. They would never come out and tell you our unemployment rate is very high in Trinidad and Tobago. Hence the reason why NIS, NIB, the NIB board in Trinidad and Tobago, they're suffering. Do you think they'll come out and tell you that? No, $10 million went missing in NIS. NIB board, where the money going? Up to now, nobody haven't come out and said. All the police investigation they did, up to now, no one has come out and said anything about it. Anything about it. But nevertheless, we're moving along. Health Minister Terence Dialsing have stated that the Arima Hospital will be decommissioned as a COVID-19 facility on Sunday coming. Dialsing stated that from Sunday the 5th of June, there will be an official handover of the Arima Hospital to be used as a primary and secondary facility. Listen to Terence.
This Sunday, June the 5th, will be the official handover of the Arima Hospital to the Arima community, so it can be used as both a primary and secondary facility. So that takes place on Sunday, June the 5th, this Sunday.
Now viewers, the Arima Hospital was operationalized on a phased basis on June 15, 2020 after being opened on June 9th. Nevertheless, employees of Telecommunication Service of Trinidad and Tobago, TSTT, who despite being handed their retrenchment letter on Tuesday, opted to show up at their workplace on Wednesday in accordance with a court order which shut out over alleged fear by the company of internal vandalism. The ruling by the Industrial Court President Deborah Thomas Felix handed 376 workers represented by the Communication Workers Union a lifeline by permitting them access to their workplace. The court gave them access to their workplace. So here it is now. Here it is. However, CWU Secretary General Clyde Elder explained that those who turned up on TSTT premises were turned back. Now this shows that TSTT do not want these 376 workers to enter their compound to continue working. Why? Why is this? If the government or Trinidad and Tobago owns 51%, why are they not in negotiation? We're talking about 376 people on the breadline. What is the Minister of Finance doing? What is the Prime Minister doing? The Prime Minister always using this term is about is about lives and livelihood, saving the livelihood. So why aren't you stepping up now to save 376 workers? Why aren't you stepping up? You're talking about saving lives and saving livelihood. Now is the time to step up and show the country that you mean what you say as a minister. You wouldn't do that because you don't have the belly, you don't have the guts to stand up. Several attempts were made to contact TSTT CEO Lisa Agard for a reason to Elder claims, but proved futile. No answer. However, in a response to the claim that workers were denied access to their workplace on Wednesday, TSTT Communication Manager Janelle David stated that no individual represented by the Communication Workers Union was denied access to any TSTT building. So it's a to and fro. It's a to and fro. Hey, let me tell you something. You see, in the coming months, coming to the closure of this year, all you tell yourself we're in a pandemic? Wait for the latter part of this year and you will see how upside down things will be in Trinidad. Take what I'm telling you. You know my words don't fall to the ground. Take what I'm telling you and you will see it. Too much nonsense taking place in Trinidad. And we expect those in authority to stand up. Are they standing up as they're supposed to? Ask yourself that. Are you getting, or are we as a citizen of Trinidad, are we getting the proper or the correct service that we ought to be getting? They had a march one day. One day they marched. After that is it. March done. March done, everything gone back to normal the following day. Now I'm going to tell you something. When you want to make an impression, when you want change, you keep doing one thing over and over and over. Big march Wednesday or Thursday. What happened to Friday and Saturday? You want to catch the eyes of the finance minister. You want to catch the eyes of the communication workers. You want to catch the eyes of the prime minister. You want to catch the eyes of TSTT. You want to catch the eyes to raise it from 2%. But one day marching in Trinidad ain't going to do nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people came out one day. They sacrificed one day to show up in large numbers. You know what that represents? You know, for Carnival, we just have thousands of people on the street Monday and Tuesday, and Wednesday everything go back to normal. Streets clean, who had to go to church, who had to go for ashes, who had to go to work, everything back to normal. Like Carnival never existed for the last 2 days. So the protest that took place in Trinidad and Tobago for increase, that happened one day after, the next day Trinidad back to normal. Like nothing never happened. In other countries, when they decide to protest for a change, they go for days. Days. You see, I gotta tell you something. When you want change, you have to decide. You have to make up your mind to make a change. You know what? You see these 3 days coming up here? In next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I realized I had to have a little resource for them 3 days because I'm planning to stay away from work, because I'm planning to let my boss know, hey, you see that treatment? I ain't taking that. And I'm staying away Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So prior now to that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, the week before that now, you will put in your extra hours. You will turn night into day. And you're putting in your extra hours, your extra money to compensate Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week. So when you decide now and you strike Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, you already had those days financially covered. You're sacrificing the week before. We know about that in Trinidad. A lot of people know about the word sacrifice. But have we ever really sacrificed? Saieed, I did sacrifice to reach on my job for 8, and by 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, I back home. That my sacrifice? No, that is not your sacrifice. That is the hours you are required to work from 8 to 5. Don't tell me that is a sacrifice. You are making no sacrifice there. That is the job hours. That is the hours that are recommended. Oh, Saieed, I just leave home 4 o'clock in the morning is a sacrifice. No, if you had to reach to work for 6 o'clock and you had to leave home 4 o'clock, that is not no sacrifice. That is your job. That is your job. You're required to be on a job spec or your job place from 8 a.m. and 8 a.m. you are there. You are getting paid to reach here from 8 to 5. Don't tell me that is sacrifice. That is not your sacrifice. And that is the difference people need to understand and learn. Caller, good night.
Hey, good night, sir.
Go right ahead, my friend.
Is it I'm hearing clearly, government is telling you we to cut the spending when they are on a wild spree spending left, right, and center? Is it correct? That is what they say? And the second question, sir, didn't these PSTT workers granted an injunction by the industrial court?
Yes.
Is the government blatantly say, well, what, we are higher than the court and, disregard and blocking the workers? Is that what they're doing? Now, the other part I want to raise, sir, the government is saying whatever back pay must be paid to these public servants, they have to borrow money. Did they borrow money when they give 50 million to Tobago hoteliers?
I like that.
To do repairs and all this? Did
I like
they borrow? Was they going to borrow money when they was going to construct standards? Is it somewhere in Tobago? All this wild spending, all this money that they have spent in the Tobago election and the last general election here, did they borrow money when they're spending billions and billions of dollars? Nobody don't have to cut. It is the government. Stop stealing money and this wild spending what they are spending. That is what got me here. You remember the first time Rowley won election, at least that when you say win election. Is it, he said he was not supposed to take drastic measures if Kamla Prasad didn't spend so wildly. Who is it spending wildly now? Who is in government? Why you are taking these steps, sir? You are cutting in the wrong place. You are fattening your pocket, your friends, your family. Now look at this other thing. I'm looking at something here. NECO wrote off $60-something million in bad debt. Who investigated and decided these are bad? You know, they should have a comprehensive audit as to who these loans was given to. Is it the financiers, friends and family of the PNM? Is it that they are giving them this money under that guy to write it off as bad debt? It is total mayhem and mismanagement. Now, so all I'm appealing, Dr. Raoul and the PNM government, if you cannot mismanage, these steps that you are taking is not necessary. Just call an election, get out and see how the UNC government or any other government would manage without resorting to these steps. You all have incompetent people, and you are having incompetent people. For example, like in the police service, in the public service, it is only your people, your supporters who are holding these jobs, and they are square pegged in wrong hole. I hear in someone, a very high police officer saying, sir, police mistake that robbery in Cuba in Republic Bank for construction. They may have seen that. What kind of foolishness is this kind of thing?
Thank you, my friend. All you feel that was a bacchanal day? Hear what Marvin Gonzalez had to say. Minister of Public Utilities Marvin Gonzalez have stated that he is satisfied, listen to this word, satisfied that the TSTT's executive management and board of directors was acting in the best interest of shareholders and complying with the collective bargaining agreement in retrenching 28 estate police officers. He is satisfied with the decision that the executive management and the board of directors took. He's satisfied that 28 people are going home, estate officers. But hear this, Opposition Senator Wade Mack called on the government to tell TSTT to rescind the order of retrenchment of 468 TSTT workers and question why the company would lay off workers in a time of economic hardship. And he asked whose interest the government was seeking. In his response, Gonzalez stated that TSTT restructuring exercise was not a secret, as it had announced that it started restructuring discussion with unions since February. Listen to this.
Mr. Vice President, the restructuring exercise that has been going on in TSTT is no secret. TSTT has announced to the people of Trinidad and Tobago that it has commenced restructuring discussion with all the unions representing TSTT workers as of February of this year. 4 months of engagement in accordance with their collective bargaining agreement. What can you expect more of a company that has a responsibility to its workers to comply with the collective bargaining arrangements where its restructuring is concerned? This is not the first time TSTT has engaged in restructuring discussions. As a matter of fact, over the years, this is perhaps the 5th or 6th restructuring exercise that TSTT has engaged in. And if Senator Mark has a problem in TSTT engaging in collective bargaining arrangements or restructuring exercise concerning its workers, then the courts are always there. If TSTT is not complying with its obligation under the collective bargaining arrangements, Mr. Vice President, then the courts is always there to ventilate those issues.
You see, Gonzalez, the court acted accordingly. They acted accordingly. The ruling by Industrial Court President Deborah Thomas Felix handed 376 workers represented by the Communication Workers Union a lifeline by permitting them access to their workplace. You're talking about the courts? The courts give 376 workers access back to their workplace while others trying to send them home. The courts say, all the marshal their bricks. Hold on. It's not dog eat dog here. Workers have responsibility, so they have to go back to their job site. You talking about courthouse, Gonzales? Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, Gonzales. You're supposed to be fighting for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Who are you fighting for? Huh? Who are you representing? Who are you representing? Are you representing the company, or are you representing the people who gave you the power that you presently have? That is the difference. So hear this now. Gonzales added that he was satisfied that TSTT continued to be given the best legal advice and was satisfied that his collective bargaining arrangement, satisfied with that, you know. But listen this. Even the bargaining team got letter to go home. And he's satisfied with that. That is what you call a minister working for the people? Open all your eyes. Open all your ears. God gave all your eyes to see what's going on. Ilham taba Allah kada Allah. And our ears to hear what's going on. Is Gonzales for the company or is Gonzales for the people? So after tonight now, you the citizens will make that judgment. He said, if Mark or the opposition had a problem with how the exercise was being carried out, they were free to go to the courts for redress. Hold on. But the court already redressed the situation and they give the 376 workers access to go back to their place. So we're talking about Gonzales, you're embarrassing yourself as a minister. Run the video.
I am satisfied that TSTT continues to be counseled and get the best legal advice to allow this restructuring exercise to take place despite the fulmination of Senator Mark and his pretense of caring for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. It is a great pretense. I am quite satisfied that TSTT, its executive management, and the board of directors are complying with its obligation under the collective bargaining arrangements. And I dare say, if Senator Mark or any of his cohorts have any issue with it, then take it to the court.
And Tobago, you want to tell me now that Marvin Gonzales represent the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago? That clip that you saw there, it clearly states that he represents TSTT. And all you vexed with Saieed now, because Saieed, all you bashing the minister, are trying to keep the workers employed. Because Gonzales clearly believe on TSTT and not helping 376 workers come out and make a day work to see about their family. But you know what, Trinidad and Tobago? Next 5 years or next 4 years, Gonzales now will be balancing in your yard. Oh God, vote me. Yes, we will fix all your right. While he's backstabbing all you now and representing the company while all you had to go home. So it's the same thing I said the other day. When them eating chicken, all you eating boulders. All you eating boulders. And all go vex with Saieed. But that's all your business. All I just heard what he said. He's satisfied with the decision that they made. So I want to ask Marvin something. When the 28th Estate Police Constable go home, which company? I hear a little bird whispering in my ears today. Which company now going and send security workers to replace this 28th? Marvin, I want you to come out and tell Trinidad and Tobago who is the next security company that taken the position of these 28 Estate Constable Police. Come out and tell Trinidad and Tobago that. Come out and tell them that. You're a minister, you're a man, you say you're fighting for the people. Come out and tell them which security company taking that place. You ain't gonna come out and say that. Huh? Gonzalo, this is Thursday night. You have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then I go tell all you what Wade Mark said about that company taking over that security work. All you feel side chipper or what? Like I said, these individuals and them that govern Trinidad and Tobago, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago put them there. They just didn't wake up one morning and just grab that position. No. They hold that position because of you, the citizens of this country. And you know what you're getting? That is the result you get. If all are vexed with me, that's all you know. That's all your business. Because you see the latter part of this year is where all you going to feel the pinch. Call a good night.
Very good night.
Go right ahead, you're live on Real Talk.
The speaker, the host, is not giving the opposition the time to ask the question to get answers for the country. Isn't it possible that somebody could put the speaker in front of judge and chambers to get some answers? Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. Trinidad and Tobago, all you want to make changes? All you want to make changes? Do like the Prime Minister said. Put an extra hole in your belt and come out in your numbers. Not just Monday, or not just Tuesday, or not just Wednesday. Sacrifice for the days to come. And all you come out 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, and let the government know all you're serious. Let me tell you something. In the US and in Europe, in Canada, in London, when they want things done, they come out and protest for days. Down here we come out 1 day 100,000 people, and next day we get up 7 o'clock to go to work. And you go here, yes boy, I was down there in the protest, you know, and we talk about this and we talk about that and we talk about next. 1 day you talk and the next day you shut up. You talk Monday, you talk for change, Tuesday you shut up. You think, well, when you operate like that, you think Rowley listening to all you? No. Rowley could be like with the partner, all you hear something? All you hear anything? No, they may hear nothing. They may hear nothing. You protest Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, go to work as normal. And you expect a big change in the country. Caller, good night.
Hello, good night, sir.
My friend, how are you?
Good. Sir, you're a businessman.
Mm-hmm.
You employ people.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do not restructuring, and you don't have enough money to pay employees, wouldn't you let them go?
I understand what you're saying, but
right, but I'm telling you, it's the same thing. BWI is owned by government. And when they send report, look at the big contractors, take this part and that part and this part. And it's the same thing happening. And that is what's going on. But great is the PNM.
Great. Thank you, my friend. Now hear this. Hear this, viewers. Well, you think it easy? The man say, go to the courts. He didn't realize the courts grant them. All go back to work. So let me see Marvin hired on the court. 51% of TSCT is owned by the citizen, is owned by the state. And Marvin support the decision of the board to send home workers. 4 years or 3 years from now, Marvin Gonzalez would be balancing with a set of people behind him and coming into your yard and shaking your hand and kissing your baby. Mwah! All your vote, man, we will help all you. Although the government discontinued its proposal for a COVID-19 vaccination policy in the public sector, workers in private sector claims that vaccination has still been enforced in the energy industry to illegally dismiss them. Workers gathered outside their workplace at Kenson Group of Companies, San Fernando, to demonstrate their dissatisfaction. Labor Relation Officer of the Oilfield Workers Trade Union, OWTU, Ernest Kesar, delivered a letter to the HR manager seeking an urgent meeting on the claims that denial of workers' right to work or to continue employment owing to their vaccination status. One worker stated that he has been off the job since December 27th and thereafter received an official termination notice on March 18th. His termination was said to have arisen from his non-adherence to BHP COVID-19 policy and added that has happened to other employees who are engaged with numerous companies in the industry. In a company memo dated October 2021, employees were told that from December 1st, 2021, only full vaccinated contract personnel would be allowed to mobilize at BHP TT operational site. Let me hear what the Prime Minister had to say about that. Let me hear what the Health Minister have to say about that. Because I will tell you something, I will tell you something. If citizens are allowed to come into Trinidad and Tobago, foreign nationals, my mistake, foreign nationals are allowed to come into Trinidad and Tobago with just a PCR, why is it these industrial companies making it so hard for their workers? And without the workers, the company can't go nowhere. Caller, good night.
Very good evening to you, Mr. Said.
To you, my friend.
I could recall a couple of years ago, the president of South Korea, can't remember the lady name, she was found to have breached the Constitution by accepting a bribe from the Samsung Corporation, a big bribe. And when the population realized what had happened and the government in question wasn't doing anything about it, they decided to protest.
Yes.
These people protested for a couple of weeks, and what they was doing, they went to work as normal during the day, but in the night, believe it or not, in the capital Seoul, over 4 million people, over 4 million people was, they just sit with a candle and they're not moving. So they clog up the streets, they clog up the pavement, they clog up everything, nothing could have moved. And eventually, the president was unceremoniously removed, replaced, and currently serving 11 years in prison. All the best, have a great evening.
You see? You see, thank you, my friend, for sharing it. We need to stand as a people. Now, I will tell you something. If all the trade unions in Trinidad and Tobago, you all really want to represent your workers, you all really want the best of the government, you all really want a raise in the 2% in the negotiation, let me tell you something. Encourage your workers to come out and make a sacrifice and protest for days, and you would see a change in the country. Because I will tell you something, the government will start losing revenue. Once you decide to stand up for your rights, the government will start losing revenue, and that is where they will have no other choice but to come down from the big chair they're sitting down and meet you all on the roads and on the pavement, as kids say, well, we got to take it out on the pavement. Let me tell you something. Why do you think Saeed, get things done? Because I will come up here on my program night after night after night after night and hammer it in their head. You think it easy to be making international news where you're hitting the health minister night after night after night after night? And every night now it extend. Grenada, Guyana, Jamaica, Barbados, St. Vincent, and it keep going. How do you think I was able to get all these amendments and legislations and bills and things passed that I pushed for? How do you think I got that? I did what I had to do. Caller, good night.
Good night, Said.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, all these union leaders we have right now, you put all of them brains together, right? They cannot be a quarter of what Mr. Pandey had when negotiation was concerned. Mr. Pandey, in the 10 years that he was there at all Trinidad General Workers Union, he got 500% for the workers there. These people are foolers right now. These union leaders they have in Trinidad and Tobago right now. They are foolers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my friend. Hey, Andrea Barrett, may God rest her soul in peace. Trinidad and Tobago got fed up. People wanted to know why Trinidad and Tobago lit a candle for almost 2 weeks straight. They come out by the hundreds of thousands of people throughout Trinidad. You know why? You want to know why? When that incident took place with Andrea, that was a breaking point for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. They had no other choice but to stand up for what they believed in. And around that same time, I started to push for pepper spray legislation. When I started to go down on the former Attorney General, Faris, hey, what you doing, Mr. Man? What kind of protection the woman have? The Commissioner of Police ain't signing off for no gun. They charge a woman for a penknife. They say there's an illegal weapon. So what the woman them have to protect them? Nothing. And that is when I start to hammer pepper spray. That's when I start to hammer pepper spray. And what we do when we get it passed? We're just waiting for one final passage again to complete the whole process. And you could go ahead and get a license. And I get it done. You know why? Because it's hammering and hammering and hammering and hammering night after night after night. You think it's easy to get embarrassment being a minister on a national platform? No, it's not easy. It's not easy. Because you're hearing a man on television. Outside ministers hearing a man on television. Where this man talking the truth. So what the AG doing in his country? You think that embarrassment is easy to take? Where is the new Attorney General for Trinidad and Tobago? How come we are hearing nothing about him? Is he on vacation as he starts? Is he on vacation already? Could somebody call in and answer that? So while we're talking about that, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley have stated that advanced negotiations have begun concerning the potential purchase of Petrotrin Point-a-Pierre oil refinery. Dr. Rowley confirmed that the government has been evaluating bids from 3 companies for the refinery. Regarding the refinery, the MP said 3 final bidders were received in April 2022 and were evaluated by Trinidad Petroleum Holding Limited and the relevant ministry officials. He also confirmed that the government has since entered into negotiation concerning the refinery, and the selection of the preferred bidder will be soon finalized. Listen to this.
And as regards the Guaracara refinery, 3 final bids were received in April 2022 and were evaluated by Trinidad Petroleum Holdings Limited and the relevant ministry officials. One of the bidders was selected and has entered into the next phase of exclusive negotiations with TPHL and the government of Trinidad and Tobago, with the aim of negotiating definitive agreements and securing committed financing within a specified period of time. We expect that the process and selection of the preferred bidder will be soon finalized.
So I just want to give all you a little update. Keep in mind that this industry approximately worth about $7 billion. Just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. And we want to see the proper process being done for the sale of the refinery. And let's see if we could get some S to come out and bust in the public domain as who is connected to who and who is getting what and where this one going and where that one. I'll take it easy. I have something for all you. The government stated, the PM stated that the government will assess the bid in the best interest of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. He added that in keeping with the government commitment to transparency and accountability, all you hear the big words? Transparency and accountability. Relevant details from the evaluation of the bids will be disclosed to the completion of the exercise. Listen to this.
In keeping with our commitment to transparency and accountability, the relevant details of the outcome of the evaluation of the bids will be disclosed on the completion of the exercise. Unrealized potential is of no value to anyone, not to the resource owners that are the people of Trinidad and Tobago, or to interested investors if that resource remains out of reach, undeveloped, and unexploited.
Caller, good night.
Yeah, good night, Saieed.
Go right ahead, you're live on Real Talk.
Saieed, it just appear as you doing all the opposition work there. The opposition have real ammunition to bring down this government. Real ammunition to bring down this government. There's a certain procedure and thing that you will go through and so on. You get your facts right, just as how you get your facts right, and put it out in the public domain and thing and do what they have to do. Right now, the opposition is not doing sufficient. They is not doing sufficient and they is not impressing the majority of the population. In case of election call now, the PNM going back in power because of that the UNC not doing what is it they ought to do, right? And there is where the problem lies. We don't have a good country running dependent on the power of the opposition. Right? Once you see the opposition don't have no power and thing is there is where everything going haywire. Right?
Correct.
And right now you don't even hear any voice of the opposition. Right? Look at the much thing going on and so on. You ain't hearing nobody intervening to say anything. They just remaining just and remain silent. Now that the public looking on. You don't just running into government just so you have to do things to get into government. And right now they're not doing sufficient to get into government. They have real ammunition to work with, and they're not working with it. Right? That the country is supposed to be, not pleased about their working performance. The majority of the people not pleased about their working performance.
Correct.
And you'll see it's not the people's fault really, but it's according to how you operate. Because everybody looking to see your attitude. Why did you believe the PNM government does work themselves back into government? Because they're doing certain things and they pretending that it's there for the people. Even though they're not for the people, but they will pretend that it's for the people. Right? Is that the UNC government have to do more. They really cannot depend upon you to do everything. They have a portfolio and they're supposed to fulfill their portfolio. Right? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, my friend. You see, I just always tell people, I am not picking sides. I am not picking sides at all. You have a portfolio on your table to make sure workers get fair treatment and a fair deal. Are you doing that? My job is to hold you accountable for that. That is my job. My job is to bring the truth to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. That is my job. My job is to open your eyes. My job is to open your ears. My job is to open your intellect. Have you thinking different? Why do you think that we came up with the idea on a Wednesday night to highlight the condition of the roads throughout Trinidad and Tobago? Because that is an issue. That is an issue, and it's only Real Talkers do it. It's only Real Talk this dude. Out of all these shows and stations in Trinidad and Tobago, only Real Talk with Saieed Ali does do it. Minister of Health Saieed Ali have stated that 862 children aged 5 to 11 out of a possible 100,000 has received the pediatric COVID-19 vaccine. The rollout started on May 25, 2022. The Singh stated that parents was given the information they needed to make an informative decision, and he urged them to have their children vaccinated. Now, like I said, that is your choice. Meanwhile, Dr. Joanne Paul, head of the Pediatric Emergency Department, stated that the vaccine has been recommended by the World Health Organization as well as the US and TT Pediatric Association. Paul added, while in the 12 to 17 years age group, the vaccine has shown a small risk of myocarditis and inflammation of the heart muscle. There was no case of this in children receiving the reduced dose. However, she reassured parents that children who receive the vaccine could still contract COVID-19, but can reduce their risk of transmission and having long COVID or contracting Omicron. Listen to this.
So can my child get COVID even after vaccination? I think the minister and CMO have mentioned this a good few times in all their press conferences. Yes, for sure. The COVID vaccine does not mean that you would not or cannot get COVID infection. But if you look at my reduced, so we have it where it's reduced chance of infection, it's reduced transmission, it's reduced chance of MIS-C and long COVID, and significantly, especially with Omicron, because we found Omicron has a higher reinfection rate. In fact, every 1 or 2 months so far, with some individuals, there has been a reinfection. It reduces significantly reinfection. So we have less transmission, less MIS-C, less long COVID, and reduced reinfection.
Now, Trinidad and Tobago, Minister of Rural Development and Social and Local Government, Mr. Faris Al-Rawi, have stated that the local government reform was intended to get more power into the hands of local government. The minister stated that when he accepted the role as Minister of Local Government, his obligation was to wind up the affairs of the ministry, and added that he is here to put himself out of the job that is currently cast in the laws. Hear him.
Mr. Vice President, on the 16th of March 2022, in accepting the role as Minister of Rural Development and Local Government, my gazetted responsibilities included a very important item. It is written in the gazetted position under the hand of the President that my obligation is to wind up the affairs of the Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government. In other words then, I am here to put myself out of the job that is currently cast in the laws that we now manage, take that baton, hand it over to the Ministry of Finance as it relates to a certain part, much like the Tobago model, and very importantly, to empower the local government structures in the 14 municipal corporations.
I will tell a little something just on Trinidad and Tobago. The ministry also states that proceeds from property tax will be given on a permanent retention base to the local government bodies for use in their operation. He said, based on his data, 45% of the corporation aggregated assets are non-functional. Listen to this.
The current data that I have on the exercise that I've engaged in as Minister with responsibility demonstrates that 45% of the corporation aggregated assets, that is the 14 corporations put together, 45% of the assets are non-functional. 2, in terms of people, that a vast majority of our positions are not currently filled. And this bill treats with Public Services Commission, Statutory Authority Services Commission, and the concept of contracting. Because you have to have people. How do you represent 70 to 80% of your annual $2.4 billion paying for employment if the managers for the persons on the ground are not with security of tenure or filled by people that are in post for the correct position and time? This bill proposes, when we look to the people aspect, the standing committees, the full-time employment, it proposes that we have accountability and people to manage.
So now we're going to hold the minister to his word. Like I used to do when he was the Attorney General. I used to hold him at certain things. And we get it done. We get it done. Work hand in hand and we get it done. Arawi added that almost $2.4 billion was spent over the past decade at the ministry, yet population was unaware of its work. He stated that when persons speak about local government, there is no real appreciation for it. Listen to him.
If you listen to people speak about local government, there is no real appreciation, as I stand before you now, that the Minister of Rural Development and Local Government has close to 30,000 employees under management. 18 bodies, 14 regional corporations, municipal police, rural development company, CPEP, forestry, and soon the secondary repairs company. In that matrix of 27,000 to 30,000 employees, local government has been reduced to the position where people don't understand the breadth of work that is involved.
I will tell you something, I will tell you something. Presently, corporations throughout Trinidad and Tobago are seeking fundings. They are seeking fundings. Why are they seeking fundings? To carry out their daily activities, to do their jobs, to repair the road, to make sure the building structure proper, to make sure equipment up and running. What's happening for the last 3-4 years? What's happening? No finance have been released. Hence the reason why nobody cannot see no work being done. It's Saieed they're talking to, you know. Keep that in mind. Moving along. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley have stated that the government wishes to reduce its subsidy of gasoline, but amid a shift in electricity being used to power public transport, Dr. Rowley stated that the country is in a state with the potential of fuel price to move in either direction, and a fuel to allow domestic fuel price to move freely with market price. He also said TNT transportation policy must become more climate friendly. Listen to our Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago and his
we are in a
wonderful
volatile energy scenario with the potential for fuel prices to move quickly in either direction. In the current circumstances, we may have little choice but to implement a fuel liberalization program to allow domestic fuel prices to move freely with market prices. In any such arrangement, we will implement measures to cushion the impact on the traveling public. It is therefore important that our transportation policy moves away from the current model based solely on liquid fossil fuels. The future of mobility will be electric.
Now viewers, he also mentioned that the gas exporting countries forum predicted a 46% jump in natural gas demanded from 2020 to 2050. Listen to this.
For the foreseeable future, hydrocarbons and in particular natural gas, the clean energy, will continue to drive the economy of Trinidad.
Close your fridge. Until we meet again, Allahumma kabarakade la iza inta abaunta. Open your eyes and open your ears. For tomorrow is Friday the 3rd. It's Bacchanal Friday. Until we meet again, good night.